live. We are live from a beautiful coffee shop in Malaysia. Alright, let's see. So last night we entered into true flow state. We're talking with Sanjeev, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is what you want, right? Like someone who watches you, you're streaming, someone is watching you, and they are actually engaging. You are engaged, they are engaged, you are doing your thing, and then they are asking you questions, and then you are trying to respond to that, and then it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The difference is that I'm talking and he's just typing. But it was really cool. I would actually love to know more. I would actually love to know if this is an experience, if this is an experience that people enjoy. I think it's interesting, right? Like it's like going on a Joe Rogan podcast, but instead of having a recorded podcast, listening to a recorded podcast where you are just a passive consumer, you become an active, engaged listener where you are asking questions and the person is picking up questions and responding live. And talking is a form of thinking. So this is very interesting. This is actually very interesting. There were some moments where I was like, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. Like this last part where it was like, do you think meditation can be an addiction? And I think that was very interesting for me to figure out that, okay, first of all, let me ask Grok. Let me see what Grok says. Grok said yes. Okay. It would be interesting. Like I shouldn't have maybe looked at Grok first. I should have responded first and then figured out and then tried to ask Grok. But my answer was right. My gut feeling was in the right direction. The entire euphoria, transcendence thing, and stimulation thing. It's again a form of stimulation. It's a better form of stimulation. The difference is, and once you experience it, everything else feels like 5 out of 10. Every other stimulation feels like a 5 out of 10 because you're trying to get somewhere. So this is a stimulation which is really healthy. Because at the end of the day, you are trying to get somewhere. You are trying to achieve, you are all trying to achieve this higher form of stimulation. And obviously you're starting with the things that are most easily accessible. Smoking. And it's interesting, again, very interesting. Meditation might actually be even more easily accessible because all you have to do is close your eyes. The difference is, it takes a long time to get bored, to really exhaust everything that's external, to do everything that's external, to be bored of everything that's external, to realize that, oh, maybe now it's time to go inside, now it's time to go internal. This is interesting. Remember, there's this one artist who would go late, party, late night, get drunk, wake up with half not fully slept, and then he would record stream, or not record stream, then he would paint in that state. And I feel like I am in that state right now. It is a bit, you are kind of in this state where it's easier to get into flow state because you are a bit, I don't know what's the right term, you are in a weird state right now. You're not, yeah, you're in a weird state, and it's maybe easier. It feels like you're almost intoxicated when you are half asleep or you are not fully recovered from sleep. I'm having a lot of issues with the mattress. The mattress is really bad. My room's humidity is really bad. So I hope we can fix that. But yeah, once that is fixed, it's not once that is fixed. I think it's again a gift. Amor fati. You have to accept your fate. I think that has become something really incredible. That amor fati. How do you bring every trouble back into your art? Every interaction with reality, because reality is never going to be perfect, and that's the point. If it was perfect, you would have no character. You would have zero character. The fact that you have challenges and you overcome the challenges, that adds more character. So I've started researching on mattresses. I started researching about hotel mattresses and what's the point and what's the not what's the point, but yeah, the design of it, and just reading about why hotel mattresses are like that, like really fluffy and really soft that will bend your back, and it will feel really soft, but it's really bad for your back. So, very interesting stuff. Well, this is beautiful. When I was in India, I was thinking about this exact place. I was thinking about this exact place because this is a cafe where there are not many people. There are not many people in this cafe, and it's a beautiful spot. This particular spot, just this particular spot where you are kind of like just outside and from the edge of the cafe, and just surrounded by trees. I think it's a beautiful view. It's a beautiful view, and this is what we want. And it's interesting. There was one guy who I met, interesting guy, um, worked at Uber for 8 years in San Francisco or in US in general, Microsoft Uber, and I went on a long walk with him. It was good to walk and talk. And then he's like, "What's your favorite spot over here to work from?" And I'm like, "I don't want to tell you my favorite spot." Because then people will take over. And I actually started seeing a bunch of friends who have started taking over the spot. But yeah, it's like, is it good to gatekeep some things? Maybe it's good to gatekeep some things. People are talking about this in New York as well. Like the moment you find something cool and you put it out there, there are shit ton of people who come there, and it kind of messes up the organic community or organic thing that that thing had before. Interesting. You will always be rewarded for being early. You will always be rewarded for having some sort of taste. You will always be rewarded for being early. Maybe that's it. Yeah. And it's interesting. There's this coffee shop and then there's another coffee shop. This coffee shop has this coffee shop. The latte is actually not that good. There's another coffee shop with better latte, but this coffee shop has a better view, and they offer coffee in a really nice cup and really nice presentation. And the person who works over here is a good friend, and people makes all the difference. It doesn't matter then. Like that coffee shop, even though everything is perfect, it could feel very bland to me. And this coffee shop, even though the coffee isn't good for which I'm here for, even though the utility is not up to the point, I'm coming here for a feeling. I'm coming here for the beautiful feeling. Interesting. We also had this idea of building a school. Um, I think, I think, let's not name it the live stream school right now. Let's not name it the live stream school right now. Let's just call it building a school. A live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. I think I like it. A live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. Keeps the ordinary away. It's no more an ordinary day when you enter into flow state. When you control your 1 to 2 hours, where you are entering into this beautiful state. something very interesting happened. It's when I was talking to my friend, and she's like, I have done somatic. I do somatic, like body stuff, and even I couldn't figure out that you were not comfortable with your hair, with losing hair. It was very interesting. I feel like when I'm in a flow state, I am just pointing towards beauty. I'm just moving towards beauty. That's it. So everything else becomes unnecessary. My what I look like becomes just a small part of the entire experience. But yes, when I'm outside, when I'm not engaged, then I become conscious, because when I'm not in flow state, and then all you care about is the looks. So it's interesting. It's interesting. This is the reason maybe it's important to just be engaged, so that you care and you care about the most important things. You stop worrying about the superficialities. You stop worrying about the superficialities life, of life, of appearances, of appearances. Yes, it's also really cool. I think this was my goal, right? This was my goal in Vancouver, that once I had the courage to move into my new home, once I had the courage to build this new home. Building a new home sounds cool, even though I didn't build it. But building my new home sounds cool. But I built it, I crafted the entire environment very specific to how I wanted. The way, the angle at which the desk faced, it's not aligned to the wall, it's the angle that is just right, so that I get to enjoy the entire beautiful view of the Vancouver skyline that I had from the 25th floor. I'm really grateful for that entire experience, because yeah, you want both of them. You want, I think this is it. That's the point, right? Like, you can't say someone that, hey, money won't make you happy, so don't chase money. You have to make money, because that experience will also change you, to then realize that maybe now you need something else. So it's just levels. It's levels of a game. It's just that you need to get there. It's a step function. You need to get to that new step, and then enjoy that step, or keep running into that step, but realize that now the game is boring, so now jump to the next step. And that's how you just have to keep pushing yourself, and just remember that never get stuck. Always play the highest order game. Always try to play the highest order game. Don't get stuck in exploiting a lower order game. You can optimize for it, but then you wouldn't have explored during a lifetime. You wouldn't have explored the highest orders of game. You wouldn't have explored the highest orders of game that will give you the highest forms of stimulation and highest joys, maybe. And it's much more beautiful to create your own, craft your own world. You always have an option. Do you want to join someone else's world, or you want to craft your own world? It's easier to join someone else's world. It's very, very hard to craft your own world. But it's much more fulfilling when you craft your own world. It's also very interesting to realize that how, wow, it's just been 14 minutes. Crazy. These last 14 minutes felt like I've been talking for hours. But anyways, yeah. Again, with this entire visa situation, I'm thinking that, okay, hmm, Yeah, with this entire visa situation, it again feels like whatever the visa situation is, whatever your visa status is, that becomes your world. But it's very important to just expand the frontier, expand the limits of your imagination, and not feel like you are limited by anything. You don't have to feel like you're limited by anything. You can. The world will force you to limit your imagination, but you don't want to. You shouldn't limit your imagination. It's very interesting. It's like if you think of this concept of passport, this concept of passport is very interesting. The concept of passport is all about that, okay, there's a trend that we see. That is a trend that we see from a lot of people coming from this country. They do this activity, so let's stop that. And then that affects the entire country, entire population. That affects the entire population. So it's very interesting then to realize that it's very interesting, very important to then realize that, okay, then how would you act? Then how would you make shit happen? Because now you have to stand out. This is a massive challenge. There's a massive challenge for everybody. I think there was a interesting video that I watched where we talk about India. We talk about how Indian passport is not that powerful. There are people from other countries, other smaller countries, which have crazy, who like for whom getting a visa, visiting a foreign country, visiting a country is like a lifetime goal, and it's like a challenge, and it's like a dream, and it takes decades and years to finally get there. And it's kind of crazy, right? Because it's like you fought all this time for this, and then some people can just like go to that place in like the next couple hours, and who keep visiting that, for whom that's like a daily routine. So that's also very interesting. But what does happen is that fighting that entire challenge changes you. Fighting that entire challenge makes you really strong. So you kind of also always want to make sure that you are, whatever challenge you are going after, don't go for the challenges where all you are doing is just waiting. Rather go for a challenge where you're actually fighting, where you're actually engaged. Because at least when you get it, even though you got something which 99% of the people had access to, the journey made you really strong, and now you can just leverage that fight, leverage all that mindset, all that fight for the next higher order challenge. So that's how, and same for French, right? For Canadian passport, for Canadian visa, for PR, I could have, what could I have done? I don't think there's any other option. The only thing I could have done is learn French. So what that means is I had to be engaged with this language. I had to fight for this language. And that entire journey taught me something. That entire journey made me really good at something. And that entire journey made me good at something. And now it was all about, yeah, that entire journey made me really good at a skill, and now I can deploy that skill somewhere else. I can deploy that skill at a higher order challenge, rather than if there are people who were just working, so they finish this 1 year of, so they get to a point where they get something, and you're just waiting. You don't want to wait. You want to be engaged. I think that is incredibly more valuable. And I'm really excited. Like learning French kind of gave me confidence that, oh, I can also learn Chinese. If I have learned French, I can learn Chinese, Mandarin, and that's some crazy level of confidence that, okay, I can learn Mandarin. And Mandarin seems like it's actually easier in terms of the grammar structures, in terms of tenses. It's actually much easier than French, which is cool, which is crazy to think about. what does what were some interesting essays written 100 years ago about beauty and aesthetics? You find it's also interesting to find content that you enjoy. I think it's again interesting. It's like you are anyways gonna be watching content. You are anyways gonna be consuming content. So why not be surrounded by content of the highest orders? You are anyways gonna be stimulated. So why not be stimulated by the highest drug, by the strongest drug? The deionization of art. Almost exactly 100 years ago, the Spanish philosopher argued that modern art deliberately purged human sentiment and realism. Divided audience into those who get it and those who don't.
It's raining. I like it.
Sorry?
It's raining. I like it.
Yes, it's beautiful. Penitent art, the philosopher who wrote The Sense of Beauty, reflecting relying on modern art's retreat from beauty into abstraction. He would later develop it as famous expression theory of art. So what I'm thinking is, let's see. I'm guessing this entire essay is in Spanish because it's written by a Spanish philosopher. Give me this article in French. La déshumanisation. La déshumanisation de l'art. De l'art. D'accord. La déshumanisation de l'art. De José Ortega y Gasset est un essai classique protégé par le droit d'auteur. Le texte intégral en français n'est pas disponible gratuitement en ligne de manière légale. Il a été traduit et réédité, notamment en édition Alia en 2019 et dans d'autres versions comme celle de Paul Aubert et Yves Giustiniani. Vous le trouvez légalement. Édition Alia, version courte et accessible, la déshumanisation de la version plus complète, incluant l'idée sur le roman et là en prison et au passé chez d'autres éditeurs. I think it was really cool. I was watching a movie yesterday where the protagonist is basically his dream is to do film like shows in Paris, and that was really cool because a bunch of people are talking in French over there. Like he's doing this investigative journalism at a place in Paris, and he's like shooting, and there's a criminal who's like talking in like slang French. He's like casse-toi, and I actually understand it, which was pretty cool. And then there are like bunch of like he's trying to learn French, and he's like comment ça va and blah blah blah, and I'm like I know this, I know like this is like very basic stuff that you're talking about. Like we are way beyond that. Version plus complet incluant idées sur le roman et l'art en prison et en passé chez d'autres éditeurs. Si vous souhaitez un résumé ou des extraits significatifs en français, dites-le moi et je vous les fournis avec plaisir. Résumé bref de l'essai en français. Dans cet essai, Ortega y Gasset analyse le nouvel art moderne avant-garde du début du XXe siècle, cubisme, qu'il qualifie de déshumanisé. Selon lui, l'art traditionnel était humaniste. L'art traditionnel était humaniste. Il représentait la réalité humaine, suscitait des sentiments et une identification émotionnelle. Le nouvel art rompt volontairement avec cela. Il est anti-réaliste, ironique, ludique et exige une attitude contemplative, purement esthétique plutôt qu'émotionnelle. plutôt qu'émotionnel. Cet acte crée une distance entre l'œuvre et le spectateur moyen, l'homme masse, humans, ce qui explique pourquoi il est souvent incompris du grand public. Cet acte crée une distance entre l'œuvre et le spectateur moyen, l'homme masse. L'homme masse. The man mass. Ce qui explique pourquoi il est souvent incompris du grand public. Il n'est pas déshumanisé en son négatif, mais en son où il élimine éléments humains, sentiments, réalisme pour se connecter sur la forme pure. Voulez-vous que je développe certains passages clés, que je vous donne des citations traduites ou un résumé plus détaillé chapitre par chapitre? I think I can see myself going through this phase of Elisa Liu. When I was thinking about it, I think I was like, maybe I'm going through this phase of Elisa Liu where earlier you're kind of forced to do this thing, but then you choose to do it. Why? Because you kind of realize that you have already invested so much time into this one activity, so why not go further? Why not go further? And I think that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I think it's very interesting. Like once you realize that you have put bunch of effort into something, it makes sense now that you actually go and make that shit happen, and you actually invest further into it, because investing further into something that you already know, that's going to be much more valuable. That's going to be much more valuable than starting a new thing from zero. So yeah. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Résumé, laissé en français. It's very valuable it's very valuable to double down on something that you have already invested all your time into. So let's see. Résumé de la déshumanisation de José Ortega y Gasset. Dans cet essai majeur, le philosophe espagnol analyse et défend le nouvel art des avant-gardes depuis le XXe siècle. Le concept central, la déshumanisation. Pour Ortega, l'art moderne rompt radicalement avec l'art traditionnel et romantique du XXe siècle. L'art du passé était humaniste, il représentait la réalité humaine, suscitait des émotions, de l'identification et de la sympathie chez le spectateur. Il était centré sur le contenu, histoire, sentiment, drame humain. Le nouvel art, au contraire, élimine volontairement l'élément humain. Il fuit les formes vivantes, surtout le corps humain. Il déforme, stylise et déréalise la réalité. Il fuit les formes vivantes, il déforme, stylise et déréalise la réalité. Il refuse le pathos, le sentimentalisme et l'identification émotionnelle. Déshumaniser ne signifie pas que l'art devient un humain au son moral, mais qu'il se débarrasse de tout ce qui est trop humain. Émotion, réalisme psychologique pour se concentrer sur l'essence purement artistique. Caractéristique principale du nouvel art. Ortega énumère les tendances essentielles de ce nouvel art. Déshumanisation, suppression de la figure humaine et des réalités vécues, évitement des formes vivantes, préférence pour des formes géométriques abstraites ou déformées, l'art pour l'art. L'œuvre n'est pas plus qu'une œuvre d'art, sans prétention morale, religieuse ou sociale. Le jeu là est un jeu intellectuel. I feel like I'm going through the Elisa Liu phase. Yeah, Elisa Liu phase, where she's like, yeah, at first it was regimented and all that stuff, but now I'm just playing. Now I'm choosing what I want to do, and I think this is it. This is what I wanted. This is what I truly wanted. Now that I have really perfected this skill, now that I know this skill, now that I've spent 1 year in this skill, it's time to just play with it. It's time to just play with it. And there was a lot of shame attached because it's like there was a lot of shame attached because people are forcing you, people are putting a deadline on you, and you are like, for the stuff that you are supposed to be playing, you are kind of really regimented. And that's the issue. That's the issue. Even, yeah, like there are people around you who are like, did you get it done? Did you get it done? How long will it take? How long will it take? This is the stuff that you're supposed to be enjoying. This is the stuff that you're supposed to be playing with. And play is so much more important. Play is extremely important because that's the only way you flow. When you make things rigid, when you make things regimented, you start putting, yeah, you start putting that goal on a pedestal. Et tu mets cette chose sur un pédestal, et c'est grave. C'est pas grave? Non, c'est vraiment grave. C'est un gros problème parce que c'est un gros problème parce que tu ne dois pas mettre les choses sur un pédestal, tu dois juste flow, tu dois juste jouer, tu dois juste jouer comme un flow, comme un enfant. So yeah, the Elisa Liu thing, actually I want to look into it. Give me some quotes from Elisa Liu. And this is interesting. This is very interesting. I think live streaming is again very interesting because this has kept me going. This has kept me going. This has kept me talking, engaged, documenting this entire journey. And yeah, pretty much, yeah. Wow. Since the day I started live streaming is also the day since I started learning French, since I first picked up French, October 2024. October 2024, yes. And then in November I visited India, and I was like, I think I found the thing that I need to be working on. And then I come back, I tell to my friends that, hey, I think I have figured out what I'm gonna be doing. It was crazy. And at that time it was even more crazy because I had just started on this journey. I have not fully evolved into it. I had not been changed by this practice. I had not done my 10,000 hours into this practice. I didn't know where this is going. Even today, I don't know where this is going. It's just that you just have more confidence. And then I just kept going. And this became the one thing that I control, no matter where I'm at. All you need is Wi-Fi and my laptop. And if I got that, we just made it happen. I love struggling, actually. It makes me feel alive. There's no way to lose. Reflecting on philosophy that every performance or story has value, win or lose. I don't need this medal, but what I needed was a stage, and I got that. So I was all good, no matter what. If I fell on every jump, I would still be wearing this dress, so it's all good. Yeah. I think last night that was very motivating, or that was very helpful on this journey. That was very motivating. That was very motivating. Like having someone who likes likes what you do, and what you do is you do this new thing that nobody really does. What you do is you do something that couldn't be put into a category. Very interesting. What is there to lose? Every second you are there, you are gaining something. There is nothing to be lost. No one tells me what I'm gonna wear. No one tells me how my hair is gonna be. No one's gonna try to change me. I connect with everything, but I'm not getting attached to anything. That's what I'm fucking talking about. One more. Her training philosophy. Let's see. Training philosophy centers on intrinsic motivation, autonomy, embracing struggle, joy in the process, and detachment from outcomes. Detachment from outcomes, again, very interesting. Intrinsic motivation, autonomy, embracing struggle, joy in the process, and detachment from outcomes. The approach helped her return from a break, reclaim control of a career, and build Olympic gold. Transcend lesson about success. Loving the struggle, embracing discomfort as fuel. You famously said, "Love struggling actually makes you feel alive." Falls while attempting challenging jumps, like the triple axel, and responds with one more, showing fierce self-determination rather than needing external pushing. She views the grind, falls, and physical exhaustion as vital and energizing, not something to avoid. This mindset reframes hardship as meaningful and alive, distinguishing voluntary, self-chosen challenges from draining external pressure. Yeah, maybe. Not maybe. I think we already invested 10 years in Canada, so let's get the PR. Let's get the PR. Let's get the Canadian PR. This is what I needed. This is what I needed. I'm gonna enjoy the process for a bit before I give the exam. I'm gonna enjoy the process for a bit before I give the exam. I'm really happy. If I would have, yeah, I think, yeah, universe is favoring me. Because if I would have gotten French on the very first attempt, I wouldn't have met this beautiful girl that I met in Montreal, which was a beautiful experience. If I would have gotten French in December, I wouldn't have moved to my new home in Vancouver and built this new home. If I would have gotten French in March or April, I wouldn't have moved across countries. So French has helped me in a very interesting way, where not getting what I wanted helped me find what's next. Wow. Really cool. Wow, it's just been 30 minutes, but this time it feels like I've spent like hours over here. I was stepping away from skating, feeling it had become rigid responsibility with coaches dictating music, costumes diet, and schedule. You return on her own terms. Key boundaries, she said. She chooses her own program music and contributes to choreography and costume design. She chooses her own program music and contributes to choreography and costume design. She controls her training volume, ramping up or backing off based on how she feels. No restrictive dieting or external body control. She rejected past insane rules like limiting water intake for weight. No restrictive dieting or external body control. Collaborative coaching rather than top-down directives. Our coach noted autonomy and self-direction, loving the struggle, joy, artistry, and process over perfection. Liu approaches skating as an artist, sharing her story and creative process, not just an athlete chasing results. Performing because she wants to share her work on the biggest stage. Joy, artistry, and process over perfection. Liu approaches skating as an artist, sharing her story and creative process, not just an athlete chasing results. Performing because she wants to share her work on the biggest stage. There's no way to lose. Even imperfect performances tell a story. Gratitude, fun, and a carefree confidence that keeps her calm under pressure. She studies psychology and uses mental tools like detachment, separating her identity from skating. Separating her identity. It's so interesting, like how I approached psychology. Some people can actually open a psychology textbook and start reading psychology, how I approach psychology was, it's crazy. Like if you get into this flow state, you can have you can feel like you have really made the most out of this entire day in just like 40 minutes. I feel like I've already done so much, and it's just 40 minutes, and I woke up super late today because of this entire mattress thing, and it's just 11:30 right now. Just crazy, just crazy. Wow. But anyways, wow, amazing. Yeah, yeah. I think building a school is the next bigger goal. Again, French is giving me more and more interesting things. I know that I'm not. I'm a courageous person. I'm a. I'm a courageous person, and I'm courageous. I'm a child. I'm a child, and it's not even about courage. It's just like if I want to do something, I go after it. I just do it. It's not that I put that on a pedestal and stuff like that. So we are gonna do this, and I think it's pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So, the live stream school. So what is my school? My school is basically built on the fundamentals of curiosity and flow state. Simple. Curiosity and flow state. My school is built on the fundamentals of is built on the fundamentals of curiosity and flow state. That's it. That's it. You just keep investing. You just keep investing, and then you will like it. You will like it, and one day you realize that okay, I think I'm so good at this, and I've invested so much time into this that the only thing that makes sense is to keep doing this more and more. That's it. And you can do this from anywhere. You can really control your learning. You can really explore. You can control. You have control. Curiosity, flow state, and self-direction. So building a school, it's built on the fundamentals of curiosity, flow state, and self-direction. I actually like to say the word autonomy. So autonomy, curiosity, flow state. Curiosity, autonomy, curiosity, autonomy, and flow state and autonomy. Joy, artistry, process over perfection. New approaches, skating as an artist, sharing a story and creative process. Autonomy, curiosity, autonomy, curiosity, flow state. Not just an athlete chasing results, she emphasizes performing because she wants to share her work on the biggest stage. There's no way to lose. That's so interesting. It's so interesting. It's basically the problem that you keep seeing in the world. You solve for that. And what is the problem that I see? The problem that I see is that people are not engaged. People are just consuming. People are not engaged. Be engaged in your craft. Gratitude, fun, and carefree confidence that keeps her calm under pressure. She studies psychology and uses mental tools like detachment, separating her identity from scaling and a beginner's mindset. Shoshin for fresh engagement. Balance, breaks, and detachment. Liu advocates taking breaks when stuck, experiencing life outside skating, and not attaching self-worth to outcomes. This prevents burnout and sustains long-term motivation. She makes skating fit into her life rather than letting it consume everything. Fit into her life. Again, the fact that we didn't get French in April meant that we took this lead, exited the yeah. You just have to make sure that you have this mindset of play all over again. It was good to be distracted, it was good to experience, it was good to live life, and then now you go back all over again. You go back all over again to French. Because you invested so much time and you actually like it, so let's push ourselves. Let's push ourselves. Self-direction, autonomy. Me choosing to push myself is actually pretty good. Me choosing to embrace the struggle is actually pretty cool. Experiencing life outside skating and not attaching self-worth to outcomes. This prevents burnout and sustains long-term motivation. She made skating fit into her life rather than letting it consume everything. Higher intensity, self-driven reputation. She pushes through fatigue with internal willpower. Artistic input, incorporating personal expression in programs enhances engagement. Body autonomy, sustainable nutrition, and listening to physical cues instead of extreme restrictions. Mental preparation. Yeah, French is actually beautiful. French is actually beautiful. I like to say French. I like to speak French because I like to speak French. I like to speak French. It sounds very good. I like to speak it. It sounds very good. Gratitude, reframing competition as sharing rather than testing and focusing on what she can control. This philosophy contributed to her comeback success and gold medal performance, where she appeared relaxed and joyful. Body autonomy, mental preparation, balance, breaks, detachment. L'art pour l'art. L'œuvre n'est plus qu'une œuvre d'art sans prétention morale religieuse ou sociale. Le jeu là est un jeu intellectuel, ironique et léger, non une chose sérieuse. Ironie essentielle, distance, humeur et moquerie vis-à-vis de la réalité. Anti-romantisme, refus du mensonge sentimental et de la grandiloquence, absence de transcendance. L'art ne prétend plus sauver l'humanité ni porter de messages profonds. Caractéristique principale du nouvel art, déshumanisation, suppression de la figure humaine et des réalités vécues. Évitement des formes vivantes, préférence pour des formes géométriques abstraites ou déformées. L'art pour l'art. L'œuvre n'est plus qu'une œuvre d'art. Œuvre d'art sans prétention morale, religieuse ou sociale. Le jeu, là, est un jeu intellectuel, ironique et léger, non une chose sérieuse. C'est exactement comment tu dis ça? That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Really good.
You guys right or?
Just got it, yeah. C'est exactement comme ça que ça doit être. It should be. C'est exactement comme ça. C'est exactement comme ça que ça doit être. Ça doit être. Interesting. Anti-romantisme, refus de mensonge sentimental et de la grandiloquence, absence de transcendance. L'art ne prétend plus sauver l'humanité, ne porter de messages profonds. conséquences sociologiques. Ce nouvel-là crée une division au sein du public. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like if you talk about learning how to learn, if you think about that, okay, what did university teach you? University didn't teach you the exact thing to be learned. It taught you learning how to learn. And live streaming is learning how to learn. It's not about French. It's not about French. It's about live streaming, leveraging, using live streaming to learn French. Imagine a beautiful space where people are creating, collaborating. A beautiful space. Imagine a beautiful space where people are creating, collaborating. In flow state. An abundance of art. That's an abundance of art. This is what we are going after, abundance of art. A beautiful space. Plants. Sun. Beautiful space. Plants. Sunlight. Sunlight. Soft sunlight where people are creating, collaborating in flow state, making an abundance of art. Making an abundance of art. That's it. That's it. Cinéma crée une division au sein du public. Il est compris et apprécié seulement par une minorité cultivée et capable d'une attitude contemplative purement esthétique. La masse, l'homme moyen, le rejette car elle ne trouve plus les éléments humains auxquels s'identifier. D'où l'incompréhension et l'hostilité envers l'art moderne. Ortega voit dans cet élitisme artistique un reflet de la société. It's interesting because Adam Newman actually is calling his place flow. La masse, l'homme moyenne, le rejette car elle ne trouve plus les éléments humains auxquels s'identifier, d'où l'incompréhension et l'hostilité envers l'art moderne. Ortega voit dans cet élitisme artistique un reflet de la société. L'art devient un signe distinctif des minorités excellentes face la masse, le moyen, le rejette car elle ne trouve plus les éléments humains auxquels s'identifier, d'où l'incompréhension et l'hostilité envers l'art moderne. Ortega voit dans cet élitisme artistique un reflet de la société. L'art devient un signe distinctif des minorités excellentes face à la montée de la masse. Face à la montée de la masse. Métaphore et exemple. Ortega utilise souvent la métaphore de la fenêtre. Dans l'art traditionnel, on regarde à travers le vitre. travers la vitre. La scène représentait le contenu dans l'art moderne. On regarde la vitre elle-même, la forme, le style, la matière artistique. Il compare aussi cette évolution à un processus de stylisation déformée, le réel beau en fait une pure construction artistique.
Nanti ya orang kasi hanapkan dia. Orang kasi hanapkan dia. Hari ini kang asisten kat sini ya. Hari ini kan.
En tant que voix dans cet élitisme artistique, un reflet de la société, l'art devient un signe distinctif des minorités excellant face à la montée de la masse. Ortega utilise souvent la métaphore de la fenêtre. Dans l'art traditionnel, on regarde à travers la vitre la scène représentée. Il compare aussi cette évolution à un processus de stylisation déformé le réel pour en faire une pure construction artistique. Conclusion de l'essai. Ortega n'apporte pas un jugement de valeur absolue, mais constate un changement historique profond. Il considère que ce mouvement de déshumanisation est nécessaire et positif pour purifier l'art, le libérer des luttes romantiques et lui permettre d'atteindre une plus grande autonomie et une plus grande subtilité. Ce résumé capture l'essence de l'essai original et plus nuancé, contient des analyses fines sur la peinture, la musique et la littérature de son époque. Souhaitez-vous que je développe une partie particulière, par exemple les aspects sociologiques, les comparaisons avec l'art traditionnel ou des citations traduites? La métaphore de la fenêtre explore l'homme masse d'Ortega résumée en 3 points clés. Livre la déshumanisation de l'art. Le marché osé, le mass man. Le marché osé Ortega y Gasset est un concept central de sa philosophie, principalement développé dans la révolte des masses, la rébellion de las masas. Bien qu'elle soit déjà excusée dans la déshumanisation de l'art. 1925. Définition de l'homme masse. L'homme masse ou homme moyen, homme ordinaire, n'est pas défini par le nombre ou l'appartenance sociale, ouvrier, bourgeois, etc. Mais par un état d'esprit et une attitude psychologique. Il s'agit d'un type humain qui se sent comme tout le monde, tout le monde, et ne s'impose aucune exigence particulière. Se sont comme tout le monde et ne s'impose aucune exigence particulière, et convaincu d'être parfait tel qu'il est, sans effort d'amélioration, ni conscience de ses limites, vit dans une ingratitude radicale envers la civilisation qui lui a offert un niveau de vie inédit, confort technique, droit, etc., tout en ignorant les principes qui le rendent possible. dans un... C'est incroyable parce que c'est exactement comment tu penses aujourd'hui qu'il y a beaucoup de personnes qui ne comprennent pas comment toutes les choses dans le monde, c'est... Ils sont conçus par les gens intelligents, par les gens extrêmement intelligents. Ils sont conçus par les gens extrêmement intelligents. Donc, intelligent et créatif. Oui, dans une ingratitude radicale envers la civilisation que lui en fait un niveau de vie inédit, confort technique, droit, etc., tout en ignorant les principes que la rendent possible. Ortega le décrit comme un enfant gâté de l'histoire. Ortega le décrit comme un enfant gâté. Enfant gâté de l'histoire, il jouit des bienfaits de la modernité, science, démocratie, confort, sans en comprendre les fondements, ni en assumer les responsabilités. Enfant gâté de l'histoire, il jouit des bienfaits de la modernité, science, démocratie, confort, sans en comprendre les fondements ni en assumer les responsabilités. La masse est tout ce qui ne se valorise pas soi-même en bien ou en mal sur des bases spécifiques, mais qui se sent comme tout le monde. Mais qui se sent comme tout le monde. Caractéristique principale, l'absence de projet personnel. Sa vie manque de but et va à la dérive. Il n'a pas de vocation ni de son du destin individuel. Absence de projet personnel, sa vie manque de but et va à la dérive. Il n'a pas de vocation ni de son destin individuel. Barbarie du spécialiste, souvent instruit dans un domaine étroit, il étend son expertise à tous les sujets avec arrogance. Le señorito satisfecho, le jeune homme satisfait. Well, this is some really good stuff. Le jeune homme satisfait, souvent instruit dans un domaine étroit, il étend son expertise à tous les sujets avec arrogance. C'est le barbare spécialisé, ignorant haut de son champ, mais prétentieux. Ignorant haut de son champ, mais prétentieux. Dans cette entreprise, Ortega renvoie dos à dos l'homme masse à ignorance prétentieuse, le señorito satisfecho. Le señorito satisfecho. Very interesting. rejet de l'excellence. Il navire tout vers le bas. Il nivelle tout vers le bas. Tout ce qui est différent, qualifié, individuel ou excellent est perçu comme une offense. Il nivelle tout vers le bas. Tout ce qui est différent, qualifié, individuel ou excellent est perçu comme une offense. Hyperdémocratie. Il revendique des droits sans devoir. Il revendique des droits sans devoir. La démocratie devient pour lui une hyperdémocratie où la quantité prime sur la qualité. Okay, I'm thinking about someone, so we gotta make it happen. Okay. Let's see. Hyperdémocratie. Il revendique des droits sans devoir. La démocratie devient pour lui une hyperdémocratie où la quantité et le nombre priment sur la qualité. Manque de conscience historique. Il vit sans passé ni racine, ce qui le rend docile en idéologie simpliste et internationaliste abstraite. Il revendique des droits sans devoir. He claims rights without duties. Il revendique des droits sans devoir. La démocratie devient pour lui une hyperdémocratie où la quantité et le nombre priment sur la qualité. Le nombre, la quantité prime sur la qualité. Manque de conscience historique. Il vit sans passé ni racine. Ce qui le rend docile aux idéologies simplistes et internationalistes abstraites. Contexte historique et sociologique. Ortega écrit dans l'entre-deux-guerres face à la montée du totalitarisme, fascisme, communisme et à la crise de la civilisation européenne. Selon lui, la technique et l'industrialisation ont multiplié la population et le niveau de vie. Cela permet le moyen d'accéder au pouvoir social sans avoir les qualités requises pour diriger. Pouvoir social sans avoir les qualités requises pour diriger. Résultat, une révolte des masses, non pas une révolte contre l'oppression, mais une révolte contre toute excellence, contre les minorités qualifiées qui ont construit la civilisation. Contre les minorités qualifiées qui ont construit la civilisation. Il oppose l'homme masse il oppose l'homme masse aux minorités excellentes, aux hommes choisis, ceux qui se sont obligés, envers eux-mêmes, qui exigent plus, qui servent un idéal supérieur et acceptent la discipline antérieure. Conséquence selon Ortega. Crise de la civilisation. Son élite, dirigeant légitime, la société s'enfonce. Son élite, dirigeant légitime, la société s'enfonce dans la médiocrité, la violence ou l'uniformité. Menace pour la liberté, l'homme masse aspire à un état omnipotent qui satisfasse ses appétits tout en rejetant l'autorité authentique. Sans élite dirigeant légitime, la société s'enfonce dans la médiocrité, la violence ou l'uniformité. Menace pour la liberté, l'homme masse aspire à un état omnipotent qui satisfasse ses appétits tout en rejetant l'autorité authentique. Sans élite dirigeant légitime, la société s'enfonce dans la médiocrité, la violence ou l'uniformité. Barbarie moderne, il est un primitif qui profite de la civilisation comme un enfant gâté sans en comprendre les règles. Ortega n'est pas nostalgique d'un passé aristocratique, mais il appelle à une régénération par des élites responsables et à une Europe unie capable de surmonter cette crise. Actualité du concept. L'idée de l'homme masse reste puissante aujourd'hui. On la voit dans la culture de masse. Les réseaux sociaux, où toute opinion va en tant qu'une honte. Le rejet des expertises, le consumérisme ou les populismes. Ortega anticipe en partie les débats sur la tyrannie de la majorité, l'égalitarisme radical et la perte de son de l'effort. Souhaitez-vous que je développe un aspect particulier? L'idée de l'homme masse reste puissante aujourd'hui. On la voit dans la culture de masse, les réseaux sociaux, en toute opinion ou en tant que honte. Le rejet des expertises, le consumérisme ou le populisme. Ortega anticipe en partie le débat sur la tyrannie de la majorité, l'égalitarisme radical et la perte du sens de l'effort. Souhaitez-vous comparer? Analyse la révolte des masses. Very interesting. C'est vraiment intéressant. Ce qui se passe si je maintenant analyse de la révolte des masses, la rébellion de la massas. Ortega, la révolte des masses est l'œuvre la plus célèbre et influente de philosophes espagnols José Ortega y Gasset, publié d'abord en article dans El Sol, puis en livre en 1930. Cet essai diagnostique la crise de la civilisation européenne en sortie de la Première Guerre mondiale face à la montée des totalitarismes et à la démocratisation de la société. Démocratisation de la société. Thèse centrale. Le fait majeur de l'époque est
Yang atasnya itu nih.
l'avènement.
Yang ini punya.
Le fait majeur de l'époque est l'avènement des masses en plein pouvoir social. Pour Ortega, la société est toujours composée de deux éléments dynamiques, les minorités qualifiées, excellentes, exigeantes, envers elles-mêmes, et les masses, l'homme moyen non qualifié. La révolte ne désigne pas une révolution politique classique, mais l'éruption brutale de l'homme masse dans tous les domaines de la vie publique, politique, culture, morale, économie, où il impose ses normes sans en avoir les capacités et les responsabilités. La révolte ne désigne pas une révolution politique classique, mais l'éruption brutale de l'homme masse dans tous les domaines de la vie publique, politique, culture, morale, économie, où il impose ses normes sans en avoir les capacités ni la responsabilité. La masse est l'ensemble de personnes non spécialement qualifiées. La masse, c'est l'homme moyen. L'homme masse, portrait psychologique. Ortega ne définit pas la masse par la classe sociale. Elle traverse toutes les couches, y compris les intellectuelles, mais par une attitude existentielle. Satisfaction de soi. Il se sent parfait tel qu'il est, sans effort de perfectionnement. En gratitude, il jouit des bienfaits de la civilisation. Technique confortable comme un enfant gâté, sans comprendre ses fondements ni en assumer la maintenance. Absence d'effort, vie à la dérive, sans projet personnel ni conscience historique. Barbarie de spécialistes, souvent experts dans un domaine étroit, il prétend juger de tout avec arrogance. Égalitarisme agressif. Tout ce qui est excellent, différent, individuel et perçu comme en enfance est différent et indécent. L'homme masse est un barbare de l'intérieur, un primitif moderne qui utilise les instruments de la civilisation sans en saisir les principes. Causes historiques et sociologiques. Ortega identifie plusieurs facteurs à cette montée. La montée du niveau vital, progrès technique, démographique et économique du XXe siècle ont élevé au niveau de vie moyen. Les masses excèdent à ce qui était réservé aux minorités. Voyage, éducation, loisirs. Élever le niveau de vie moyen. Les masses excèdent à ce qui était réservé aux minorités. Voyage, éducation, loisirs. La libéralisation, la démocratie et le libéralisme ont libéré les énergies, mais sans imposer les devoirs correspondants. Démoralisation de l'Europe. Perte de confiance en elle-même, abandon de son rôle dirigeant dans le monde, ce qui entraîne une crise globale. Ce phénomène n'est pas entièrement nouveau. Il compare à la décadence de Rome, mais il est inédit par son ampleur et sa rapidité. Perte de confiance en elle-même, abandon de son rôle dirigeant dans le monde, ce qui entraîne une crise globale. La montée du niveau vital. Progrès technique, démographique et économique du XIXe siècle ont élevé le niveau de vie moyen. mariage, éducation, loisirs. La démocratie et le libéralisme ont libéré les énergies, mais sans imposer les devoirs correspondants. Perte de confiance en elle-même, abandon de son rôle dirigeant dans le monde, ce qui entraîne une crise globale. Conséquence, intervention violente des masses incapables de dialogue ou de persuasion, elles interviennent par la force du nombre, action directe, hyperdémocratie, crise de la culture, de la civilisation, menace totalitaire, absorption par l'État. Ok?